right-footed copy. Oh! Bang! That one goes down. Champions! He takes that chance. Aguero!
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from the Final Whistle, your daily or weekly match review show here on the Sports Fan Network. I am the CHALL, and today is Champions League action as Manchester City took on Sparta Prague. Now, before we get started, make sure you do like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell so you never miss another YouTube video here on SFN. And for now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into this match review, starting with the starting lineups. Manchester City lined up in a 4-3-3 with Nathan Ake returning to the back line. Stefan Ortega is the goalkeeper for this team. Ilkay Gundogan leading the midfield from the back. Erling Haaland leading the line. Savinho starting on one wing and Phil Foden on the other. Two youngsters make the Manchester City bench, James McAtee and Nico O'Reilly. For Sparta Prague, the reported summer Celtic target Peter Vindal Jensen in goal is one of the most, if not the most, highly rated goalkeeper in the Czech Premier Division. Asker Sorensen comes into the back three as he was missing out of the previous Champions League phase match for the Czech Republic club. Veljko Bremencevic leads the attacking three line with two strikers in front of him, Lucas Haraslin and Victor Olatunji. The bench contains some really good players for Sparta Prague, including Matheus Ross, Albion Ramani, who drops out onto the bench compared to the last league phase match, and Lucas Sadalek, an experienced midfielder. So let's get into this review then. Manchester City. I mean, a round of applause goes to Manchester City for that performance. That was bewildering. That was just incredible. Manchester City with a dominant attacking display. They went full throttle this evening. Sparta Prague just couldn't find a solution. Now, obviously you can name certain players. We'll talk about a specific player at the end or nearer towards the end in my key players from that game. For me, I mean, City all over were just dominant. Even before the big goal flurry in the second half, over a good stretch of 15 minutes or so, where they scored 3 goals, and in amongst that 15-minute sort of spell, City for me were just unbelievable from start to finish in terms of the control he had on the game. Don't get me wrong, I think there was more control in the second half than the first half, but only by a slight, and that's only because for me, Sparta Prague had, quite a few counters to no avail, obviously, but they had a few countering runs. I thought Andres Preciado for Sparta Prague was a pretty nifty player, had a bit of pace about him. Victor Olatunji up front. Lucas Haraslin tried a bicycle kick or some kind of acrobatic kick in the first half that went wild in terms of the accuracy, but I give praise for the fact he tried it. That goal from Haaland in second half, speaking of acrobatic, Erling Haaland. I think I tweeted out that he's not. I demand a robot hybrid test on Erling Haaland because he's not human. The way he just maneuvers unorthodox like, and the way he kind of no-looks it with an acrobatic back heel, and he's looking away from the ball and just relied on timing and instinct. If you can rely on timing and instinct alone without having to look at the ball just to strike the ball from any kind of angle, using any kind of foot, in any different direction, that makes you one of the best strikers in the world in this moment in time. Is he one of the best strikers of all time? Not yet, because you have to think of the strikers that have been and gone in the world. Sir Bobby Charlton, God rest his soul. Jackie Milburn, God rest his soul. Players like that, the out-and-out strikers, the out-and-out forwards that, define the history of football. And, there's obviously been some ones that have come and gone. Like I said, Bobby Charlton and Jackie Milburn being two of them. I think Erling Haaland has the potential to be in and amongst that category. It's going to take quite a bit more time for Haaland to achieve the success that they've achieved. Haaland has to, try and level up to what they've achieved for me to put him in the same category as the likes of Charlton and Milburn in terms of success, in terms of what they've achieved in their careers. I think Haaland's getting there, but he still needs that bit more to achieve. But in the current day and age, Erling Haaland's probably the best centre forward, or at least one of the best centre forwards in football in the world today. And it's not just because of that goal; it's because of who he is as a player. But overall, though, Manchester City, they were just dominant from start to finish in terms of the majority and the overall aspect of the game. They were majorly the better side today. And Sparta Prague offered barely little. They offered a lot more in the first half than they did in the second half. Second half, they were just out of sight. And the goal flurry did it for them. And like I said, for me personally, I think Sparta Prague will... Obviously, the fans enjoyed the experience. Fair play to the Sparta Prague fans. Well done to them because they never stopped singing from minute one. I could see that away section bouncing up and down on TNT Sport like a pogo stick. But Sparta Prague's fans were just on fire from start to finish in that game. Fair play to them. Their passion is unmatched. And yeah, congratulations, of course, to Manchester City. They get the win. I think that's 20 odd consecutive unbeaten in the Champions League now. Wow. I mean, that's just unbelievable. Something like that. I can't remember the exact run, but it's a new Champions League record they've broken tonight. So well done to Manchester City. But let's go into our key players. And for Manchester City, there is someone specific I want to talk about. And it's not Erling Haaland. My key player today is Matheus Nunes. And for me, yes, Haaland got that brilliant goal. He got more than one goal. He got two. Stones scored a good header and was defensively solid throughout. But the man of the match for me is Matheus Nunes by a mile. He was just brilliant today. His link-up play, his pitch awareness, having 2 assists. I mean, he was just all over the pitch today in terms of a positive sense. Just bringing up some of the stats here for Matheus Nunes. I mean, he gets the highest rating for me of the lot. 1 goal, 2 assists. Obviously, 95% accuracy in passes. He won the penalty that gave them kind of the cherry on the icing on top of the cake, which he scored from. 3 chances created and he got 2 assists and a goal. I mean, just all round just a brilliant performance. 100% shot accuracy. He had 1 shot this whole game. 1 shot, and it was accurate. 100% successful dribbles. 100% tackles won. 8 duels won. Only half of them were lost as well. So 4 duels lost and 8 won. 7 recoveries. 6 defensive actions. An interception. A header clearance. Dribble passed only once. He made 1 clearance in the entire game. Only 43% accuracy on his crosses. 3 out of 7. Dispossessed twice. But for me, he was a constant presence in terms of linking up the play, in terms of making things happen. For me, he was the overall midfield factor. And yes, City overall had a very, very dominant display. But Matheus Nunes, for me, was the man of the match. And he scoops the award for me. I'm not too sure who got it exactly, but in this particular game, I'd have given it to Matheus Nunes. He was absolutely on fire. And if you look at the table, the league phase, which we'll go into in a sec, Manchester City have conceded no goals, and it's round 3 of the Champions League phase done. And it's City's 3rd game, and they've conceded no goals and scored 9, which is just unsurpassable. And Nunes is a major factor in that in terms of the way he links the play, he builds the play up with speed and calmness and control, a good balance of pace and slowness. It's not too live wire, not too slowed down. It's the right tempo for City's rhythm of the game. And Nunes, for me, is a real tempo setter. And he is just this calming presence in the midfield that just sets things straight, gets into advanced areas as well, gets into the opposition third, and just make things work. He just helps make things work. Like I said, City players had great games as well today. Savinho put in a couple of good balls that resulted in good chances or goals. Obviously, he put the ball in for the acrobatic effort from Haaland. We're at the no-looker. Obviously, like I said, I think Stones getting the header, Haaland getting 2 goals, being there, right place, right time, out of nowhere. And just overall, it was a good City performance all around. But for me, Nunes was a driving force in making things happen in the final third for City on a number of occasions. Aston Villa, Liverpool and Manchester City top the top 3 places in the league phase table. Obviously, we have the likes of Barcelona and Arsenal dropping down further. Borussia Dortmund and Real Madrid into the round of 16 kind of knockout phase section of the league phase. But of course, other clubs further down the league phase table, like Bayern Munich, AC Milan, are out of the place altogether and could be out of Europe in 3 games' time. Atletico Madrid down there as well. And of course, there are a number of teams who have not won still, including 2 teams who haven't scored a goal yet, Red Bull Salzburg and BSC Young Boys. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is it for your Champions League edition of the Final Whistle. We'll be back for another week of Champions League football with the next set of league phase matches, which we will announce in terms of the one that we'll be covering in due course here on SFN, the Sports Fans Network. Stay tuned for more content coming up this week. We have a vast array of reviews coming up and a matchday vlog as well. So stay tuned for all of that. We have Europa League and Europa Conference League action tomorrow. We have Championship action on the Friday. And we have a live on location matchday review as Doncaster Rovers take on Bradford City at Valley Parade in League 2 action. So stay tuned for all of that. And for now, ladies and gentlemen, I am the CHALL. Ta-ra for now, and that is full time.
Right foot to copy. Oh, bang! That one